In part 2, we have studied Coulomb's law, but in this part 3, we are going to study vector form of the Coulomb's law. Vector form of the Coulomb's law is more important because it not only calculates the magnitude of the force, it also calculates the direction of the force. In the examination, sometimes they mention to write the vector form of the Coulomb's law specifically. Now let us consider a charged particle Q1 at position R1 from the origin. This R1 is a vector quantity. It has magnitude and also direction. The length of this vector represents how far is the Q1 from the origin, and the angle made by this vector with respect to x-axis represents the direction. By knowing the vector R1, we will come to know what is the position of the Q1 in xy plane. Now take another charge Q2, which is at R2 vector. This length represents how far is the Q2 from the origin, and this angle represents its direction. By knowing Q1 and R1, we will come to know how much of charge is placed and how far is the Q1 charge from the origin. By knowing the Q2 and R2, we will come to know the position of the Q2 charge and also the magnitude of the charge. Now you have to draw a line joining the Q1 and Q2 charges. These two charges are positive charges. You can take negative charges also, but in this example I have taken both the positive charges. Therefore, they become the like charges and they repel each other, and the direction of the repulsive force is along the line joining of these two charges. Therefore, one force acts here and the other force acts here. Now this force is represented by F12. It is a vector quantity. It has magnitude and also direction. F12 means it is the force on Q1 charge due to the second charge. Force on the first charge due to the second charge. Similarly, F21 represents force on the second charge due to the first charge. In this diagram, you can notice that they are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. This quantity now we have to write with vector notation. You can notice here F12 vector. According to Coulomb's law, this force is directly proportional to the product of the two charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. The proportional constant in SI system is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Therefore, the equation is same, only we introduce the extra term here to represent the direction. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is a scalar quantity. Q1, Q2 is also scalar quantity. But this term R12, it represents the distance between the Q1 and Q2. R12, but it is a vector quantity. First you have to understand the direction of R12 vector. Most of the time we feel that the direction of the vector R12 is 1 to 2, but it is not like that. Vector R12 means it is 1 seen from the 2. Therefore, direction of the R12 is from B to A. It is B to A. But I have taken modulus of it. Modulus means I have to consider only magnitude here, not the direction. Therefore, It is just measuring the distance between the point A and point B, and it is squared. This is all according to the Coulomb's law in the simple form. But this term is very important because this is giving vector, means this all quantity is scalar and it has to be multiplied to it to give the vector notation to it, means it is going to give the direction. Being a cap, it represents it is a unit vector, therefore it doesn't alter its magnitude. This has come only to give the direction. The direction of the r12 is unit vector r12 is same as the vector r12. Therefore, direction of the r12 is also from B to A, but its magnitude is only 1. Therefore, when this unit vector is multiplied, it gives the magnitude and the direction to F12. Therefore, vector F12 is away from the charge A as they are repulsing each other. I hope that now similarly you can find the F21 also, this vector. F21 is the force on the second charge due to the first charge. As they are being both similar like charges, they repel each other. Therefore, direction of the F12 is from A to B side, it moves away. Therefore, it is written as vector F21 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 Q1. Even if you write Q1 Q2, it doesn't make any difference because it is the product of the magnitudes. I have written just only to remember, if it is F21, this also Q2 Q1 divided by R21 vector. You have to take its magnitude and you have to square it. When you take the magnitude, the vector notation doesn't useful. Now, whole this quantity is scalar quantity. In order to get the direction, it has to be multiplied by another quantity, but it must not affect the magnitude. Therefore, I have taken a unit vector R21. By notation, the direction of the vector r21 is 2 seen from the 1. Therefore, you have to stand here, you have to look the 2. Then the direction becomes like this. Therefore, direction of the F21 is away along the AB or away from the B. Therefore, this gives you the direction to the vector F21 also. I just advise you, take one positive charge and a negative charge, draw the diagram and write the equations on your own. That gives you more meaningful to understand this whole concept. And we will use this idea while solving lot of examples. Now let us discuss seventh point, limitations of Coulomb's law. Most of the time for 3 marks they ask a question on limitations of Coulomb's law. Therefore, you are supposed to write 3 points. If you understand those 3 points, definitely you can write on your own in the examination. The Coulomb's law is applicable only for the point and stationary charges. It means charge must be very small in size as compared to the distance between them, and also those charges must be held stationary. If the charges begin to move, then this law is not applicable. Therefore, the Coulomb's law is applicable for only point and stationary charges. The Coulomb's law is not applicable for moving charges. Just for the sake of the knowledge, I tell you, the moving charges, if you consider, then we have to take the special theory of relativity proposed by the Albert Einstein. Without that, we cannot understand. Therefore, we studied Coulomb's law only for the stationary charges, not for the moving charges. The third point is the Coulomb's law becomes less effective when the distance between the two charges is less than 10 to minus 15 meter. Generally, In case of nucleus of an atom, proton and proton are so close that the distance between them is in the order of -15. In such cases, there must be huge electrostatic repulsive force. Those two positive charges must not exist together, but in the nucleus they are existing. It means that there must be other force which is holding them. Otherwise, why should they exist inside? Because according to the electrostatic ideas, they must repel each other. Then there must be some other force which is very strong. We call it as nuclear strong force. That nuclear strong force holds them together. It doesn't mean that the electrostatic repulsive force is not acting. It is also acting, but the nuclear strong force becomes dominant to hold them. That's why electrostatic becomes ineffective at so short distances. Coulomb's law becomes less effective. In such cases also, the Coulomb's law is not applicable. Now, let us study SI unit of charge. If charge is a physical quantity, it must be measurable. In order to measure, we need a unit. SI unit of charge is Coulomb. It is written as Coulomb. If you write it full, it must be small letter because now it is not name of the scientist, it is the unit of the charge. Or if you want to write in short, you can write the capital C. Now let us study which is said to be 1 coulomb. By definition, 1 coulomb is that charge when placed at a distance of 1 meter from another identical charge in vacuum at rest experiences an electric repulsive force of 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ತಗೋರಿ. ಆ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕ್ಯೂ ಕುಲಾಂಬ್ ಇರಲಿ. ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ತಗೋರಿ, ಅದರದ್ದು ಕ್ಯೂ ಕುಲಾಂಬ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಐಡೆಂಟಿಕಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ತಗೋರಿ, ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅವೆರಡೂ ಚಾರ್ಜನ್ನು 1 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತರದೊಳಗಡೆ ಇಡಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನು ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಮ್, ಫ್ರೀ ಫ್ರಾಮ್ ಏರ್, you have to keep it in the vacuum, you have to keep it in the free space. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವೆರಡು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ರಿಪೆಲ್ ಆಗಾಕ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವೆ. ನಡುವಿನ ಅಂತರಂತೂ 1 ಮೀಟರ್ ಐತಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ರಿಪಲ್ಸಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಎದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ನೀವು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರಿಪಲ್ಸಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತದೆ. ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪಲ್ಸಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವೆರಡು ನಡುವಿನ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು 9 into 10 raised to 9 ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು 9 into 10 raised to 9 ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೋ ಆವಾಗ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ Q1 ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಎರಡು 1 ಕೂಲಾಂಬ್ ಐತೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. In the examination, they ask it for even 1 mark. Therefore, you have to remember it. Therefore, I just repeat it. 1 coulomb is that charge when placed at a distance of 1 meter from another identical charge in vacuum at rest experiences an electric repulsive force of 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton.